Hey everyone, and welcome to Nerfcast. This is Shawn.
And this is Josh.
And we have a special guest with us once again.
Hey guys, it's B.F.U. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
God, that was creepy.
Good.
A little creepy.
We're like the Stepford wives.
Well, it's Halloween month, so creepy's okay in Halloween month, but not in any other month.
Yep, that's true. I
I'll
mean,
accept
actually, Valentine's Day can get pretty creepy if it's like you love someone and it's unreturned.
Yeah, and speaking of Valentine's Day, I'm sure everybody saw the news and the new hot red blaster coming out.
Yeah, because it's Valentine's color.
Yeah.
I tied it all together.
That's how we do.
Putting the pieces into the slot.
Nice little neat ribbon for you.
Yes.
Boom shakalaka.
So we recently got some leaks from it was a German website, right? Was it Blaster Parts who leaked this, I think?
Ooh.
Amazon first.
Amazon first?
Amazon had the description
Yeah.
first, and then I think somewhere in
I think Blaster Parts are the first people to find a image of it.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So they leaked the image of the new blaster, which is the Mega Series Magnus.
Liquid Hot Magnus.
Makes sense it came out of Denmark or by Germany, because Magnus is just that kind of awesome German name, right?
Yeah, and I remember actually when the Rapid Strike first got leaked too, it was over in like Europe, right? Scandinavian, German countries.
I don't remember what I ate for breakfast, Shawn. You think I'm going to remember when the Rapid Strike was released? I remember there were a lot of darts everywhere.
I remember it coming out because I'm like, oh, this blue blaster. It kind of looks like a repaint. But why would a website that's a retail site put up a fake link to a fake image that they don't plan on selling? It doesn't really make sense. So yeah, that's how that was leaked too. There's this trend of stuff getting leaked in the UK and then coming over to the US. Well, I mean, it goes to other countries too, but I only care about the US.
Yeah, that makes sense.
America.
Yeah. So
America.
So the blaster's real interesting because it's internal clip. First time you guys might have to correct me. First time outside of Dart Tag, we have an internal clip for a blaster.
Jeez.
Josh, I defer to you.
Nerf
I
hipster.
think that is the first time we have had that happen since the N-Strike line. Blasters pre that, they had like blasters shaped like bats and stuff. So, anything sort of went back then.
I'm just, in my head, what I'm imagining when you say the blaster is shaped as bat, you got like a foam bat, and they're like, it's a blaster! And you're like
the
throwing it at
animal.
people.
Like the animal. Like a bat. They had like a scorpion
Oh,
one. They
okay, I
shot
thought
out
you
of
meant
its
like a
tail.
baseball bat, and you just threw it at people, and you're like, it's a blaster, guys! Look, it's a projectile.
I had a whole different image, and it was a dude going, I'm Nerf Man.
I am the Nerf.
But anyways,
Where is the Busby?
Busby, can we trust him?
Yeah, we both went there.
Why do darts fall, Master Bruce?
So we can
Learn to pick them up.
Oh boy. So, well, the bad news and good news is you won't be picking up a lot of darts because it only holds 3 rounds of the mega darts. Mega darts. It only holds 3 rounds apparently internally. And they don't have any. It's got a bottom rail attachment to it. That's where you're going to attach any of your accessories. Hopefully they'll have something that holds more mega darts because 3 is not a lot. But the word on the interwebs,
The interbutts.
is it shoots up to 85 feet.
Oh man, there's another blaster that's supposed to shoot like 85 to 100 feet, right?
The Centurion does shoot 100 feet. You just have to angle it.
Angle it. And
And
you
have-
also need to have darts that are in good condition when you first get them too.
To be fair, the entire Elite line promises 75 feet, and you don't get that unless you angle it either. So, let's
even
not
the
unjustly and unfairly judge the Mega line based on that exclusivity.
Screw that, because they had the opportunity to look at the Elite range and be like, oh, it's not getting that. But Glacier's still within like 10, 15 feet. I feel like 100 feet, you have to angle it pretty high to get that distance still.
You got new darts? Not that much.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, new darts. I mean, a lot of people seem to have pinpointed the problem with the Mega Series that the darts just get worn down, and that's what's hampering performance after a certain point.
And worn down, you mean shot twice.
Yeah, shot twice.
Yeah. So as the only owner in our group, right, of a Centurion.
I believe so. Every time I go to Target, I look at one and I'm like, God, I should buy this because I don't own it yet. And then I'm like, I No.
So keeping with the Centurion theme, the Centurion story is I got it. It was on eBay before it was released. The guy was local, so I emailed him, and I managed to get it for like $15 above what it would normally cost in the store, in a trade that I would do a mod for him later, an underbarrel something for him. So I hauled it over to the East Bay and picked it up. Josh met me at my house at like 11:30 midnight. Like we were juiced to be the first people to open this thing up and shoot it. I will say this, without the barrel on it, we were getting, and angled of course, but we were getting well over 100 feet.
Yeah.
Well, way over 100 feet, 110, 115. So my thinking is the pistol probably won't have a long barrel if dart drag is a real thing or whatever people call it.
Yeah.
And it's not hampering range. I could see it going 60 straight. I mean, if you look at the recent stuff, the Hammershot, that thing gets 55 feet shoulder height, and that thing's got a really, it's not like the prime is really far. It's just got a really great plunger tube in it.
That's true. That is true.
Truth.
And the other part I like about it is, like you mentioned, it was getting better distances without the super long barrel on there. Obviously, the Mega Centurion is designed to look like a sniper rifle and behave like a sniper rifle. That's why it has that long barrel attachment. If you're talking about the Magnus, on the other hand, you don't have that long barrel kind of bringing it down.
Right.
And also as a sidearm, 3-shot seems like a good, oh crap, I'm in danger. Let me pull out this big, basically a Magnum. That's probably where they got the name from, Magnus Magnum. And
That
blast
makes
someone in
sense.
the face and hurt them and say you're shooting at their shoulder.
And I think it's kind of cool because it falls into like a middle category. Josh and I were talking about this the other day. It falls between single shot fire strike and all the revolvers that are out, which are like the other half of the pistol category, right? You have your single shots.
Yeah.
And we'll count the triad as a single shot. But.
Yeah.
And then you've got your all your revolvers.
Pretty much. That's kind of your secondary. I mean, yeah, you could use a Strife or something as a secondary, but mostly revolvers.
Yeah, revolvers and front loading single shots. So it kind of falls in the middle. It's not, doesn't carry quite the ammo load of revolver. Still multi shot. So I'm interested to see it. I'm hoping they fix the darts.
I want to know how big it is.
Yeah, that too.
That's like my first. How big is this blaster?
Hasbro should Snapchat us size pictures of the Magnus.
And if you look at the picture and you know where the darts, it seems to be the darts go in through the upper part that's the breech, right? And get pushed down. It's got to be a pretty beefy blaster if you know how big a Mega Dart is. It's got to be probably at least I would guess a quarter to a third bigger than a strong arm in length.
That actually brings up an interesting point. When we talk about a lot of Hasbro products and what they're coming out with, it's a lot of kids stuff, right? They're designed for kids. Of course, our age group is included. Nerf Wars, HVZ, we're clearly becoming a more focused demographic for Hasbro. When you look at the Mega Centurion and now the Magnus, they're bigger blasters. I mean, is this a sign that Hasbro and Nerf are kind of moving more towards the kind of kidult demographic, I guess, if you want to call it that?
It's interesting that you bring that up because I feel like Hasbro tried that already with the Vortex line. I feel like the Vortex line was really supposed to be for more adult audiences. They behave a little bit more like regular firearms, like you don't have to prime it and then put in the magazine. A lot of sort of office warfare or indoor warfare where things are bouncing. They get sort of better distances because they're just, gliding on air. I don't know, I feel like they tried to and then that didn't do well, so now maybe they're going like, well, let's do it with a bigger dart. So the bigger stuff is for the bigger kids.
But the speed on the Vortex line is poopy.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's honestly the big problem with that. I can appreciate the longer range, using different ammo. Because it's a smaller, more condensed ammo, it's a lot easier to carry around, too.
Yeah.
It's overall, conceptually, it seems like it should be an improvement. It's just the velocity of the disc itself is too slow for me to care.
It offers some advantages with being able to shoot off walls and curve.
Definitely.
Right? You can legitimately curve it without having to feel like you're trying to be in a stupid movie. Oh, I said it.
Oh,
I like that movie.
Yeah, okay.
It has Morgan Freeman and Angelina Jolie and that one dude who plays Professor Xavier, and he was also in Becoming Jane. The story of Jane Austen and her love affair.
Kind of odd considering that they're already based on people in the comic book.
Speaking of Jane Austen.
Yeah?
Nothing to do with that. So, when I bought the Centurion, it's actually interesting. The guy I bought it from, he bought it because he plays Nerf with his son and his son's friends. And he was happy to have a blaster his size. Like normal people size.
I mean, that's the thing, though. When I hold a Strife, I don't feel like that's kid size by any means.
I
Okay,
don't.
you
I
guys
have.
can
I have
disagree.
tiny hands, so nothing feels kid
So
sized to me.
I feel it's kid sized
like-
when I run it as a rifle. So when I put attachments on it and stuff,
Yeah, I can see
I
that.
don't feel it's big enough.
Yeah.
When I run it as a submachine gun, no, I mean maybe a little kind of small when you put the little handle on it, but I don't feel that it's. I feel it's a little undersized when I run it as something else. So
makes sense.
this is like the first, even the Rapid Strike when I got it. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna be bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel that too. With me, it's when I imagine the stripe, a lot of these, pistols I use at Nerf, they're pistol size. So I'm like, if it fits in my hand and it's not like a Derringer size, then I'm like, yeah, okay, that's appropriate. But when we're talking like Alpha Trooper, the Rampage, these do feel a little bit smaller than what I would expect a real assault weapon to feel like.
And the Centurion does not feel like that. The Centurion it may not shoot the way we wanted it to, but man, it feels like a fully sized, like it was built for an adult.
It is the blaster we asked for, but not the blaster we deserve.
No, but we did mention Blaster Parts DE, right?
Yes.
So, and did you guys see that on the modding community news? You guys see that their conversion kit came out?
Yes, I did see that.
Yup.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to spend $1 million on darts just to use your $50 blaster.
Which will now be a $110 blaster with shipping.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
for those of you not in the know, it's a conversion kit. Aren't they calling it the caliber conversion kit?
Calibration conversion
Calibration
kit.
conversion.
Kind of a neat name. I like
yeah,
that.
right. I get it.
It's
I get
better
it.
than just adapter.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
It basically allows you to use regular size N-Strike Elite magazines and regular size darts instead of the Mega.
Which is good because it's way cheaper to get Elite Streamlines.
I mean, most people already have them and already have 18-round magazines. Plus, you get 18 instead of 6
Yes.
shots.
Or
Which is awesome.
35.
Yeah, you could throw a drum in there. That's true.
They throw up a range test.
They did. So, their range test, and they say it right in the description, the ranges it's going to get is going to be similar to what the box says for the Mega. And from what we've seen. So it's going to be between probably 60, 70 on the low and 100 over on the high end. From what I saw from their range test, it looked like the accuracy suffered a little bit, but you got to expect that, right?
Yeah.
Where it's
You know.
a third of the size and you're pushing out all that air.
Yeah.
I'm just excited. I mean, I'm going to order one in a couple weeks for season 2. 3. Sorry. Season 2 for me, 2 for me, 3 for them. I'm definitely gonna get one because my $60 blaster. My $60 blaster was now gonna be a $100 blaster, but I'm gonna get my money's worth.
Here's what it breaks down to. If you make it the best blaster on the field, it doesn't matter how much you spent on it.
Good call.
Sure.
I like that theory.
We'll go with
I like that theory.
It's
High
awesome.
five. I like that theory.
Yeah.
Now, if you're losing with it, then we have to talk. Is like you are spending in the wrong places. But if you're
Yeah.
winning with it, scoring a lot of kills, by all means, spend.
Spend all the money.
It's better
on
than
the
spending
Nerf.
a bunch of money on a bunch of different blasters trying to figure out what you want. And then you're like, oh, the answer was inside all along. It was the Alpha Trooper. That's what it was for me.
Yes, I love me some Alpha Trooper.
It's too good. It's too solid of a blaster.
I know.
It actually was a big. There's a big argument on Reddit right now about the Alpha Trooper.
What about it?
So someone made a post about Elite Alpha Trooper and Hammershot. Why would anyone use anything else besides those two? Like, not anything else, but
And none of us here started that thread?
no. But I definitely jumped in that thread because they disrespected the Hammershot.
Ooh, and what's your opinion on the Hammershot?
Buy a Hammershot.
Yes.
They were talking about how the strong arm's just a better, more practical blaster, and I'm like, I don't get me wrong, I like the strong arm.
The strong arm is a solid blaster. Like, when we started playing around with it again, like, sorry to interrupt your story, but when I first started using it, or when I first got it, I'm like, I'm not going to use this because it's an updated Maverick, and anyone who's listened to the podcast knows I'm not a fan of the Maverick. It is a piece of garbage that everyone bought as their first blaster because it was cheap, available, but it just, no mod potential, poopy ranges.
Yeah, I don't like it.
It just functionality-wise, it wasn't there. No slam fire. There was nothing. Strong arm, on the other hand, huge improvements across the board. Like, the Nerf engineer sat down and was like, look, we cannot just give the same thing again. We have to make this good for when the people buy their first blaster, so they'll want to buy more blasters and keep playing Nerf.
Yeah.
Right.
Worked out great.
Make your entry-level blaster something that people can use in games.
Yep.
Exactamundo. So continue with your story.
So, I mean, that was mainly the story. We went back. There's a back and forth post going on. I just don't understand. So I like the strong arm. I'm a big supporter of the strong arm, but I don't understand how, unless your hands are exceedingly tiny, why you would ever pick a strong arm over a hammer shot for a secondary. It doesn't make any, unless you want that one more bullet. That one more bullet means a lot, but then I just counter with just keep 2 hammer shots, and when you're out of bullets, just run 2.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, the only thing that is even close to being sort of a, something you could say for it is that it has slam fire.
Yep.
So you could get more shots out quicker.
Now, hold on there. Here's the thing. I think it's easier to get more shots out with a strong arm, but if you practice enough with a hammer shot, you can get that speed down too.
Maybe not as fast, but here's the thing: slamming fire with 6 shots doesn't mean I don't know. It doesn't seem like
I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying I can. That's the only argument I can hear somebody saying, like, it's got 1 extra shot and I got slam fire. Okay,
right. Rate of fire.
Cool.
It definitely. I would say if we were talking about it, rate of fire would be better than the hammer shot. But if you're looking at form and functionality,
I would agree. I don't know. I mean, the strong arm. If you were doing duels and you did a hammer shot and strong arm, you might be able to hit somebody easier with a strong arm just because you could slam fire.
Maybe.
I mean, that's true, but I feel like the true purpose of a secondary is as your backup blaster when stuff goes wrong. And you're not going to sit there and if you're just spraying out 6 shots quickly, and it's like, okay, I'm out of that. I'm defenseless now.
Right. I don't understand why you would run it because I would rather have only 5 shots, but be able to just, if I don't have a sling, hold on to my blaster and pull out my secondary and use it. Whereas the strong arm, even if I have it primed and in a holster, as soon as I pull it out and fire that shot, I need my second hand to fire it again.
Yeah.
Right.
So
interesting post. And then they were talking about the Elite Alpha Trooper versus, I think someone said versus the Rampage, versus the Retaliator. And that's its biggest competitor, right? I've never used it, so I know this is weird. I've never used a Retaliator in a game.
Yep.
Ever.
Yeah, because you were lucky and came
after
the dark times.
But the Retaliator is supposed to be pretty. I mean, everyone seems to like it on the interwebs.
Retaliator's solid. I like it as a secondary. Once again, actually, I like it as a primary. It's a good primary blaster. If you're sitting there, you're careful with your shots and more about getting range and kind of kiting people around a little bit more. It's great for that. It's in a way, it's very similar to how I use my Alpha Trooper today. I very seldom use the slam fire, but I like having the option there when poopy hits the fan that I can just sit there and shoot out 18 darts and be like, okay, it's like, I feel like a squid. I'm going to squirt my ink blot and then run away.
That's how Arjan kills me just about every game.
Yep.
Once per game, he will run up and just slam fire almost all 18 rounds. He'll start before he even gets around the corner that he knows I'm hiding on. He's like, nah! And then I'm like, well, you got me. You did it. Usually I kill him too, but it's like, well, I mean, that's a distinct advantage of slam fire, I guess.
Yeah, but other than that, the Retaliator is still a solid blaster. If someone showed up just using a Retaliator, I wouldn't think less of them. I would put them on par with someone who understands Nerf enough to see that it's a good blaster.
And if someone showed up with the strong arm as their secondary, I'd be like, that's cool. Have you seen this yet?
Right.
And I think, like I said, I actually, gentleman bought one from me last Nerf game. Bought one of my strong arms. And he liked it. He was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
And he got it for $7. So,
that's a come up.
He was pretty stoked, right?
Some people just like the form of the strong arm. They like being able to drop the the rotating
cylinder.
Yeah,
carousel
cylinder out and be able to throw darts in, do a little bit spinning. You can't really spin the Hammershot
unless you have Arjang's magical Hammershot.
I don't know what happened. So our friend purchased a Hammershot, and for some reason, it just free rotates. Like you can just bzzz and spin it, like he put ball bearings in it, but it's out of the package, bzzz, like that.
Got it.
Yep.
It's funny. I opened my Hammershot up trying to replicate the problem, and I cannot figure out how to make it spin. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous of him.
I like how you're diagnosing it as a problem, though, when it seems like an advantage.
It's cool.
Well, it doesn't drop out, so it's not that big a deal.
I feel like the dropout, people like that because it's more sort of traditional, like a pistol with like a revolver.
For the conservative Nerf fans,
they can drop it out. If you want to do like a Russian roulette game with
Nerfers roulette,
right? You can throw a dart in, spin it, and you can do that little wrist flick and flick the entire cylinder back in. It's like, all right, I'm ready to rock and roll now.
You guys should see the excitement on Josh's face right now because he loves doing this. He'll have a dart in his mouth and just go. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
You could do that with.
You'll never catch me alive, Batman.
You could do that with Elite Spectre too.
In my head, you sound like the Penguin.
You can do it with the Elite Spectre.
And have a slimmer profile.
Yeah. You also only get 5 shots and no slam fire.
No slam fire.
I like the Elite Spectre because of the smaller profile, but
I know you guys were sold on the Spectre until the Hammershot came out.
It was like a hot 48 hours.
Like,
we got the Spectre. This is awesome. We get the Hammershot. We watched a review that was like, this is poop. And I'm like, well, we're going to buy one anyway. And we were like, oh my God. Or actually, ZOMG. This is amazing. You could see the words above our head. Yep. It was all in text format.
Yep.
In Comic Sans.
Yeah, it was like a light bulb just went off. The clouds opened up. The heavens shined down. And we bought a Hammershot. So.
Yep. That happened.
The other bit of news, I'm just going to hard stop it and move it.
That's fine.
So there was a leak from
Baidu.
I wanted to say Bandai.
Like I'm saying, like it's Japanese.
Yes.
It's like Hong Kong or China. There's a Baidu.
Des.
And it appeared to be a whiteout, and I missed that whole series too.
Yep.
Whiteout colored rough cut. I missed it too.
Yeah. The Whiteout series was awesome.
I've seen some of their like the long strikes and stuff like that from the Whiteout series.
Yep.
Looks so good.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is they brought this out, this new paint job, or they're going to be bringing it out theoretically because it's been leaked. And it wasn't just one, so somebody didn't paint it. There were a lot of them. But the Ravonix has sort of a similar style paint with the white and red, even though this is orange. But I just want to know if they're going with they're going to do more white and red.
I mean, I can see it. I feel like the blasters that have been coming out, the Elite series, have been around long enough to where all the retailers are like, okay, now it's time to start coming out with the specialty blasters, guys. We're going to go back to like the Sonic series, the Whiteout series, the Clear series, and start having specialties. I mean, we've seen all the pictures for the Ice.
I've seen them in person.
Yeah, Toys R Us.
Oh, they already have them?
Yeah,
I don't go to Toys R Us anymore. I feel bad. I mean, I should go there because stuff does get leaked there too. But honestly, I feel like lately just Target has had everything I've wanted in life.
That's because they had the entire Zombie Strike line and Toys R Us got shafted.
Yes.
Well, or they just didn't want to pony up the money.
I think it's they didn't want to pony... Let's see. We've talked about this before too. Toys R Us has ponied up the money for Dart Tag. And they have done a horrible job promoting it and getting people excited about it. While you look at the Zombie Strike line, and it's at Comic-Con, and it's at all these conventions.
And it's relevant. So that helps.
Yeah, it is relevant. So that does help out a lot because people like zombies. I mean...
Zombies are big. Also, releasing it pretty much right before Halloween is kind of a good call.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, zombies are always a good time of year. Like, there's that movie Warm Bodies, which is about zombies, and that's a love story. So you could watch that during Valentine's Day and then buy Hammershot.
Kind of hate you forever right now.
I know.
I will never watch that movie.
Here's interesting. Speaking of zombies,
yes,
we're supposed to be getting a Zombie Strike rough cut.
That is true.
Yeah.
So, do you think?
No, but continue.
So, do you think they maybe originally made a whiteout rough cut, shelved it, and they're bringing it back as part to be a Zombie Strike repaint? That would be horrible, but that could happen.
It's possible. I just feel like I don't know. It's tough because I don't want the whiteout looking series rough cut to be the Zombie Strike rough cut.
I want more colors.
But at the same time, I feel like if they did a Zombie Strike rough cut, they shouldn't even call it a rough cut. They should just reshell it like they did with the Hammershot and the Sweet Revenge or the whatever it was called before. It was called Sweet Revenge because now it's the quote-unquote Sweet Revenge kit.
Right.
But people are saying the blaster actually is the Wild Shot.
Wild Shot.
So they're like, well, if they
save
release
the
it by
name.
itself, it'll be the Wild Shot. This is the Sweet Revenge kit. Kind of like how there was a Rapid Strike mission kit and there's an actual Rapid Strike blaster.
That makes sense.
That's true.
Wild Shot is a cool name too.
Yeah,
so
you
no,
could call it the Rough Gut.
Yeah, I would just want to change the name because I would expect them to do a reshell, change all the colors, and then wrap it in tape because that's what they do with the Zombie Strike line.
That one's for free, Nerf.
So what's interesting is if you reshelled a rough cut,
right?
What would you do to it? Because the front's got to remain the same, right?
Just basically make it cool. Like change all the top rails.
Basically, just make it 20% cooler.
20% cooler in here. Change the top rails so they match the other Zombie Strike line stuff. wrap e-tape or, fake tape around the handle, make it look wood grain, pretty much stuff like that. Add some bolts and nuts onto it to make it look sort of
You can do
zombie
something like make it look like a
apocalyptic.
blunderbuss. Just give it kind of like that fake brass looking outside, wooden handle. I mean, there's a bunch of different directions they can go for it, obviously.
I feel like they could do stuff.
Because it's supposed to be a shotgun, but when I look at it with the giant open end at the front, I'm like, yeah, this is supposed to just be blast and be for people who can't aim and just have to be close.
I like that. Like a big, giant...
Like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in Looper with his gun.
I don't know.
You didn't see Looper?
Looper.
Did you see Looper?
Did I see Looper? Well,
No.
I saw of Looper because I fell asleep probably halfway through it.
It's not a fantastic movie.
That's why I fell asleep.
I'll be honest with you, it is good enough. It is no Judge Dredd.
Which, on the subject of Judge Dredd, they've got a whole mega series. UK fans, you know what I'm talking about. Mega City 1. Where is it? Nerf, get on this licensing. It's money. I want a Nerf Lawmaker Mark II.
I just want the helmet. I want the helmet to not cost $140 online.
Also, while you're at it, work on that sequel.
Please.
While Carl Urban's still young.
Youngish.
I mean, it's okay. He'll age just like in the comics.
Yeah. He's 70 right now in
And
the
if he
comics.
gets sick, he can heal himself. He's a doctor.
Yeah, I get it, because Star Trek. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Okay, there would be a lot of people listening to us right now who have no clue what we're talking about, so I made it semi-relevant for them. I saw Star Trek. They had that one guy who played Sylar from Heroes in it. Yay!
So if it is the Zombie Strike one, it would make sense because didn't they just recently slap that on the dart pouch ammo thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that was really funny how they did that. They're just like, hey guys, this is the Zombie Strike line now.
You also-
I think it was kind of
Interesting.
smart. They were like, this sells and the price of cardboard is really cheap, so we're just going to...
It's A/B testing. They're going to be like, look, we have the same product, but if we make one with a different label, if it sells better, we know just to do that with everything now.
It's interesting, because I have not, since that happened, I've stopped seeing the regular packaging. I've only seen the Zombie Strike packaging.
Because I think it got pulled.
Yeah, I think the other stuff is just not. Maybe... I assume that if Walmart and Toys R Us start carrying it, they'll just carry the regular one.
Mm-hmm.
But Target's the only place I've seen it at, and it's all been Zombie Strike.
Yeah,
And
that's actually... sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
So, it's Play Infinity?
Jesus.
God, I never remember the name.
The
The
guys
company who is licensed to come out with a lot of the Zombie Strike line and some of the accessories that have been coming out.
Right.
I really like how they're doing things. I'm sorry. I feel like they're taking steps that we have personally on the podcast mentioned multiple times about coming out with accessories, coming out what the Nerf community wants, and they're like, okay, it's really cheap for us to do that, so we're just going to come out with them. Like, for example, you get the magazine holders that now say Zombie Strike on them.
Yes.
Pouches.
The pouches we were just
But they don't
talking
say
about.
Zombie Strike on them yet, right?
The pouches themselves don't, but on the packaging it says it. And then also the sling holster. It's the same company too. There's a little sling you can put on your back to hold. It works with the sledge fire.
It's
but
the
not
big
much
like
else.
blaster sleeve, I believe they're calling it.
Yeah.
It works with a few things. It's not. It could have used a little bit of.
Stiffening.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they could have tested it to make sure that when you put in the magazine, it would actually go in and out of the actual sleeve because you have to put it in through a hole.
But
it
this
doesn't
is
really
a
make
step in
sense.
the right direction, though. Still.
Right.
Like they can see this and be like, okay, that's an easy fix. We just do a cut in it and have the Generation 2 one.
No, I agree. Totally agree. It's nice to see them trying different things, and then whatever's sticking, they're just going to continue to do. Like all of the Z-bombs and stuff like that.
Z-bombs are awesome!
I think people are really liking them. Somebody from our group just went and bought like a bunch more for our next game because he wants a bunch more bricks.
Yeah.
Would you say they are Z-bomb?
No.
Oh. Channeling my inner Anderson today. The
They
delivery.
can't know our last names.
Oh.
In fact, they can't know our faces.
I like how no one mentioned anyone's last name.
He did.
Yeah, but you didn't know who that was.
Yeah,
you
we
didn't know it was
still
a last
don't.
name until you said it was a last name.
Could be B.F.U. Anderson.
It could.
I'm like, you don't know who it is.
The U stands for Anderson.
It does. So, I mean, I'm pretty excited for another rough cut. It's one of those blasters where it's like the Hammershot. I'll just buy. I don't mind having 2 or 3 because I want to paint a couple.
That's how I felt about the Strife too. I don't mind having a couple too, so I will buy multiple of the Hammershots if it comes down to it.
Yeah.
You guys do not like the Strife.
I no.
Whoa,
Wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on.
Both of your reactions just now were very much like.
No, I did that because
again.
I remember last game I sold like my extra 5 Strifes.
Yeah,
and that's on top of the 3 that I still own. When I first started playing, I went Strife crazy. I winced because I've been there and strifed that. Mm-hmm. Josh, on the other hand, has a whole different opinion.
No, I mean, Strifes are cool. I just don't really, they don't fit my playstyle at all.
Stripes are cool if you're stupid. That's your tone. That is what you sound like.
Strifes are wacko if you're a teen.
Weird.
What?
Speaking of weird,
really, no one else remembers tobacco's wacko if you're a teen. Ads. Okay. Well,
no.
I'm old.
Speaking
How
of weird,
old are you?
Like 85.
That sounds about right.
Remember when Nerf was just a ball?
didn't you have like a weird find recently? Off-brand Nerf something?
Oh, probably. I find all sorts of off-brand Nerf things. I found. Oh, what is it called? It's basically, instead of the so B.F.U, back up. B.F.U was really happy with the
With his
Heartbreaker
life
bow.
before you came into it.
That is also true.
Wait. That's not. No.
Oh yeah.
B.F.U was
He was real happy.
less angry than some
Real
people
happy.
at the table
Woo!
about the Heartbreaker bow.
Heartbreaker! I came to his house. He had like the Rambo tie on.
This is not
He looked
true.
like Gizmo from freaking
absolutely not true.
Gremlins 2.
So let me
I
explain.
thought you were going to say Gizmo Duck, and I got really excited.
Let me explain. So Josh got the Heartbreaker bow and said it was outright and utter poopy. And I usually trust Josh, but I know when it comes to things with strings, sometimes he has a bad opinion that turns out to be wrong. So I tested it. The Heartbreaker bow is not awful. I may have done some internal things that you'll see on Bay Area Nerf later this month that have made it, now you can vary the shot power of your shot. You can do some different things with it now. The draw is also like a quarter of a half of a third of an inch. So it's not like a long draw, right? And I understand it's little. It's made for little people. Mm-hmm. So in my hands, I look like Elmer Fudd bow hunting. It's amazing.
Like trying to use Gizmo's bow from Gremlins 2.
And Josh kept saying,
matches.
he's like, where do you see what I got? I got this thing. It's amazing. It's just amazing. That's exactly how he sounds too. When he says that those kind of things.
Like,
Yeah, if those of you here haven't heard
that's
Josh
his
before.
I did something more awesome than
so
everybody
good.
voice.
Wait, what? I found something more awesome.
Actually,
mine
you know
was
what?
just
I do
cool.
know the same exact voice. It's so awesome. Guys, you got to check this out.
So he rolls up to the house.
Yo,
What is it? The boss bow?
boss bow.
It is kind of boss.
It is awesome. There's no other way to it doesn't even have springs in it. It has a bungee cord inside of it.
Awesome.
It is pretty awesome.
This is what we're learning about any bow or crossbow based weaponry. If it has elastics, you're done. You don't need springs. You don't need anything fancy. Just create a giant rubber band and just shoot darts.
What it really is it just feels solid. It feels solid like a bow. When you actually draw back on it, you can vary the amount of power, because basically all you're doing is pulling a plunger head back, and then the entire body is the plunger tube.
It's a bicycle pump.
Yep.
It's
awesome.
It is really cool. If you look up the boss bow on like Amazon, you can probably find it. I found it at Goodwill and I couldn't.
Or you can go
nobody
to
has
his
it.
website. It's http://www.google.com/.
No, that doesn't work.
You just messed it up.
So yeah, I was pretty impressed. Josh showed up, and it was definitely amazing, as he had intended.
I'm not
His
trying
will
to
be
one up
done.
anybody. I just was like, I got this before the Heartbreaker bow came
He
out.
did.
All I basically did was cut it and throw some stuff in it so that I could actually put a regular Nerf stock Elite Streamline into it. And it fired pretty awesome, but it felt really cool when I was drawing it back because it felt like more like an actual bow. So when the Heartbreaker came out, I was like, yeah, this is going to be pretty much like that, but it's going to look cooler. So I still think that it looks pretty cool. The other one is pretty much a tube with 2 bow arms on it. The Heartbreaker bow it's got the rail. You can put extra darts on it. I'm like, yeah, perfect. This is going to be awesome.
It's pretty looking.
And
Then it was a Shattered Dreams production.
yeah,
Yes.
I was very disappointed. That's all. I mean, it's not that it just everything about it I just kind of don't like. That's what it is.
I'm not a fan either.
And if you guys know Josh, when he does not like something, even if it could be made to shoot through metal with armor-piercing rounds, and it would save the world, it doesn't matter. He's not getting on board.
No. There's a very easy way to make him get on board, and I discovered this with him. You know this too. So the strike,
Flip out.
You gotta have it flip out. When we B.F.U, the first mod you actually had videotaped and brought up on the internet was the Stripe cam mount, where we just got like a grip thing to put on top of the Stripe, plug it in. And Josh is like, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I guess it's okay. That's fine. And then you do this thing where you fold it and flip it down, and it like goes almost flush with the tack rail. Like, whoa! That's what we did. Oh, that's so awesome!
So what Josh doesn't...
so cool!
It's because it was so convenient. Like, if I don't want to run it, I don't have this giant thing on top of my blaster. He flipped it down. It flips twice. Like, the little arms flip down, and then it gets all flat. And it was about the same thing as the tack rail.
Doing a fantastic job of corroborating my story right now.
It looked like it was meant to be on the blaster. It's so cool.
It just looks so right.
So what he doesn't know is I saw this off-brand thing at Walmart, and it has like a flip-up sight. It's like a little target. I'm going to put it on the side of the bow, and it's going to be a flip-out sight, so you can sight it down through what looks like a little crosshairs. And then Josh will just change his mind.
I will undoubtedly like it more.
He liked it more after I painted it orange and blue.
I didn't even care about the paint job. I really like his paint job because it looks cool. I just don't like the way the bow feels.
I would have liked moss green.
Why? Really? We're that desperate for content?
No.
All right, no, we're going there. No, you took it. No, it's fine. Cool. You want to beat a dead horse. So very recently, I posted one of my very first paint job on Nerf Reddit, and I am user KRONE16.
Okay.
So you can reference it. I probably should have put B.F.U, but it just didn't. Yeah, Crone was my previous nickname before this nickname. And I knew the Nerf community on Reddit would be very adverse to a mod that was not tactical and looked like a real gun, but I didn't care anyway. So what I did was I have this textured moss paint that you're supposed to use for like craft and home projects. And it looks like pretty much an undercoating of moss, and it's bumpy and rough. And I had some cardboard, like it's printed paper. And it's got like all kinds of cool prints you can buy. You can buy like fake leather. You can buy fake wood. So I did strips on the handle like it looks like tree bark. Then I wrapped it in burlap. I cut out some N's and some Z's and smacked those on there. Put the thing together with the stuff called Mod Podge. By the way, if you have not bought any Mod Podge, you need to have it in your house. It's like the E-tape of glue. And the blaster came out exactly the way I wanted it to. I wanted it to look like something like Poison Ivy would use if she played Nerf. That was kind of my intent. Man, it has been a rough 48 hours on the interwebs. People are questioning my religion. They're asking which side of my brain doesn't work. Yeah. It's you guys tried to stick up for me. That was cute.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. I've seen it in person and I like it. It's a good looking blaster. It looks like Josh brought this up too. It looks like it's out of the 80s, and that makes me so happy.
That's what I was going for.
You get the neon green, the hot pink together.
Yeah, with a little bit of just random burlap, and you're just it's very 80s.
See, I can fix the design in 2 seconds. Instead of the burlap, you just have zebra print for the handle, and people will eat it up.
That would have been cool. But yeah, so
just get some duct tape, zebra print duct tape, and wrap it around. You're done.
And that was the Fern Gully blaster.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
that would be awesome.
Josh told me. Josh was like, "Listen, just so you know, going
your life into your own hands."
He's like, "So you know, going in, people are going to really hate this," and that's exactly what happened. But it's good. My intent was to bring something 110% different than any other paint job or mod and make something kind of look raw and unfinished. That was actually the intent of it, and people have said it looks raw and unfinished in a bad way. So I guess I got what I wanted.
Art through adversity.
Yeah, the funny thing is now, because of all the hate just fuels me. So I think I'm just going to do a whole like Earth line.
I've become stronger.
You could make the Planeteers blasters.
I'm going to take pollution down to 0.
Because Because as soon as I was like, it kind of looks like a tree, and I started thinking of that Don Cheadle as Captain Planet series, where he starts turning people into trees.
You guys remember to recycle and separate your garbage, or I'll turn you into a tree.
What about a series of Muppet-based blasters? Ooh. Kermit the Frog green, Miss Piggy pink.
I'd go Gonzo blue.
Gonzo blue with a nose attached to it.
Fuzzy Fuzzy.
Put like little.
Change my mind. I want the Fozzie blaster.
See, I don't know. I love real looking blasters. I think it's sick when you do a Borderlands 2 mod. Like those all look fantastic, but everyone else is doing them, and I don't want to do steampunk because I don't understand steampunk. So
you could just paint your blaster entirely black.
See, I know you're being
say
facetious,
this because I know he's going to say no, and it's because he also knows it's a horrible idea to paint your. If you're playing at a Nerf game, at a school, at a park, and you paint your blaster like it looks like a real gun, you're going to have a bad time.
You deserve to get shot.
It's going to happen.
That's Darwinism. So
I will be in the bush ready to shoot you.
Yeah, just Darwinism. If you get gunned down by the police, I hope your parents aren't mad because you're not that smart.
Yep.
And you shouldn't procreate. It just shouldn't happen. I know it's tough, but
you should not shoot your blaster into someone else.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing.
I just told you all where babies come from. Spoilers.
But the cool thing is I finally got a paint job up, and actually 2 in one day because I also put up the Heartbreaker in old school blue and orange with a little bit of black on it and white. So that was pretty neat. So and that one actually got a good amount of upvotes. It's kind of interesting how colors are that polarizing to folks.
Yup. They are segregated on Reddit. The
off season's coming up, so there should be a lot of time for all this stuff coming up in the off season, right, guys?
Yeah. See, this is the thing I like about having an off season. Here in California, it is warm enough where we probably could honestly just keep playing through the winter. But generally, we take about 3, maybe 4 months off. So that way Josh and I can work on new game types. People can work on blaster designs like B.F.U. will usually come out with some crazy stuff no one's seen before at the games. And we only give him like 3 weeks to normally come out with that. If we give him a couple months, he's gonna show up in a Gundam.
You don't even. I've been inspired by all the recent Swarmfire mods on the interwebs. I got to take it up 1 level. Coop took it up about 2 levels because that dude's Dahmer mod. I almost thought about paying the $300 he wants. So those of you who don't know what this guy did. He Coop772
yes
on YouTube.
Good memory.
He took 2 Swarmfires, mounted them to the side of a vaulted rapid strike. And just let the chaos ensue.
There's actually drool on the table right now.
Yeah.
Josh liked it.
The electrical equipment.
Yeah.
It was just awesome. I mean,
here's what I like about it. It's just a flurry of darts. Like, the couple of times I've run the Pyragon at our Nerf games, I'll stand up on a ledge and just shoot all 40 rounds out at once and, like, cover the skies. And that's fun, but it's, like, slow and looming. I would like fast darts. I want it to rain and hail on everyone.
It's funny you bring up the Pyragon.
Yes.
I've been scheming in my brain for a mod, and I'm looking at the use of, like, I want to start looking at the use of pneumatic arms. And I'm just thinking of a Pyragon with an automatic arm that just goes back and forth and just flings foam, and you just hold the trigger of it. What are your thoughts on that? How does that make you feel?
I like it.
So, I don't know. There's just some stuff on there. Swarm fires are pretty hot. If anyone's got any cheap ones they want to sell me, I'm more than happy. You can email me. You hit these guys up. They'll get to me. I'll get to you, and we'll get some money exchanged hands.
Make some magic happen. Is the Power Ball basically the same thing?
It's a reshelled. No, because it's less darts. It's a different reshell.
Yeah, I forget.
Snapfire 20?
Snapfire 16.
16?
You're right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have saw the Random Shadows video or not.
Yes.
That thing sounds like a lawnmower.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just the one he got. He said he didn't overvolt it, so I don't know if he just got a noisy one. His camera just picked up a lot of...
Or if it just rolls that way.
Yeah.
Because that thing sounds scary. Especially when it's flinging all those kind of frilly darts at you, all pink and with angel wings on them. Yes. But it just, I mean, it sounds like you turned on a lawnmower and just went to town. If that thing's got internal, the cool thing about the Swarmfire is it's all one piece. Very similar to what we've seen with the Sweet Revenge
and the Hammershot.
And the Hammershot, just one piece. So seems like it'll be an easy thing. It's easy thing to mount. But if the power bell's got the same kind of setup, you might see that underbarreled.
Yes,
that could be a thing.
I'm in favor of any blasters that have a high rate of fire and can make it rain down. Like one of our players, Chris James, he showed up with a mag strike, which I've heard people talk about all the time, but I've never seen it in person. Just holds down the trigger, 20 darts come out. Is it 20 or 10?
It doesn't matter.
It's enough to hit anything that moves.
Pretty much.
But seeing that, I'm like, oh, that's what I want. I want to run in and just like yell and then just spin in a circle and shoot everyone.
And he did that with 2 of them.
Yeah,
he did a circle spin and shot. Like it was so cool.
Very Chow Yun Fat.
Yes.
Very Chow Yun Fat.
And there should have been doves flying. It was beautiful.
And now we have a couple devices that take slow-mo video, so we'll have to get that in slow motion.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that would look so nice in slow motion.
So I actually thought about bringing that up today if we have a couple more minutes.
We have plenty of time.
Fantastic. So,
tree in motion.
You know, we do film a little bit at our Nerf games.
Uh-huh.
And wonder what your guys' thoughts are on all of the recent, now that slow motion video is very easily attainable. I think everything we have films at 60 frames a second, but 120 now that it's out on a phone and it's out on the GoPro Black Series.
Yep.
What are you guys' thoughts about that for Nerf filming? Besides the fact that it looks cool. Like, what do you guys think for the impact for all the quality of the video?
I like how you say besides the fact that it looks cool, like anything else matters for a Nerf video. It's not instructional enough. I did not learn what I needed to learn from this blaster. It looked too badass.
I think I don't know, after seeing some slow-mo, it seems, besides the fact that it seems awesome, it seems like it could be really useful too. Like if we could get a good film of some full games, might be just useful for, I don't know, looking at the way people move and tactics and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I mean if we're talking about doing playback and like sports and being like, all right, now let's see what the other team did in this situation.
No
Nerf
sports announcers sound like that.
That's not an announcer. That was supposed to be them
that's
in the
coach
locker room.
That's the coach scheming.
Yeah.
Like, team. So Anderson has tendencies to run around the right corner every time he plays CTF.
Yes.
Meet him at the corner.
That's them holding the clipboard in front of their mouth.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody reading my lips while I give you these plays.
That's true. I agree.
Okay.
I'm the angry coach who I have the clipboard, but you can just hear me shouting from every single microphone in the stadium.
Now, don't get it wrong. If we get to the point within the next few years if technology allows us to live stream Nerf games,
It's happening.
and we can just randomly be like, oh, slow mo that. Let's just rewind, instant playback, slow mo. I might just have to stop playing so that I can commentate.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could probably figure out how to live stream a game now, but the data plans would be rough.
Yeah, we would need to hook up like Wi-Fi, and then a lot of it would be helmet cams. Well, you won't have to hook up Wi-Fi. But I'm saying to not have a data plan kill people, have to have Wi-Fi. And if you're just doing helmet cams, it's gonna look okay. It'd be nice to be able to switch from a helmet cam.
I mean,
to
we
like
can also do strategic
Yeah.
points around the field, just being able to watch overhead. I mean, StarCraft is super engaging, and that's all up in the sky, watching down on a bunch of minions attack each other.
I feel like we need a helicopter.
That's doable.
A small helicopter.
It's doable.
I know it is.
Yep,
Yeah.
can be done.
Yep.
If the battery will last long enough for a game to finish. Sorry, in my head, all I'm thinking about doing this with is our new King of the Hill game mode, because that would
work. 30 minutes. I think we can get 30 minutes out of a GoPro.
Yeah, that'd be worth it.
Oh, GoPro, not a problem.
Can't you live stream a GoPro?
Yeah, it has Wi-Fi.
Not mine.
I bet you there's
Not
a go
yours,
between.
but I mean, people with money.
If anyone out there knows how to live stream games, hit the inbox up and let us know your setup. We could use some tips.
I would
just
love
like Josh,
live
I would
stream.
just sit there and commentate the whole time. Josh can be the
Yep.
technical guy who knows what is actually going on, and I'll just be the hype man that gets excited about stuff.
I would love to cut the promo for that game. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Bring your blasters. Bring your foam.
Yes. Get hype is happening. The foam bowl.
Yes.
Foam. Dun 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 dun.
Game starting now. Dun 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 dun. Shooting you in the mouth. Dun dun dun. dun.
We'd have we could sell advertisements on people's shirts.
They also
Sponsored
say
by
Nerf.
Busby. Sponsored by Nerf. Sponsored by Tech Recon.
Yep. I was gonna go Leonard, but okay.
Oh,
that's
is Lander still
precious.
around?
Yeah. They're making the Huntsman
dude,
stuff.
they still have rocks you can throw at
Word?
people, so why not?
The Huntsman 50 is Leonard.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, I thought they were bought by the Belgians and turned in like a frying pan company.
Or a waffle company.
Oh, I see where you went there.
Waffles.
You can eat pancakes.
Did you get? You had the Huntsman in your hands for like 2 seconds, didn't you?
I did. I ended up returning it because I just didn't have time to open it up and review it. And I already saw some reviews on it that said it worked with elite streamlines, but
Plus?
not great.
Minus,
Yeah.
Plus check minus.
So I just was like, you know what? There's already some reviews out. I would rather not spend the like $30, $35, $40 on it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just
ooh,
wait for later.
$35 for Leonard?
It was something like that.
Yeah.
What?
It transforms into 3 different blasters.
I don't care what it lets it transform into a Nerf branded blaster. You're not getting $35.
Hey, I
can
got
go
this
catch
blaster called the Retaliator that transforms into like 16 blasters.
It has the same amount of parts as the Retaliator.
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, but we could get what's that one? The Busby one? Is it the Power Max 6?
Yeah,
the Power Max 6. You get that for $10.
Yeah, and the 10 is supposed to be 20.
So I'm
less.
confused about the Power Max 6. So reading on the interwebs, it says it shoots elite darts very badly, but using it at a Nerf game, it seems to shoot elite darts just fine.
Did you use it?
Do I have? I used it.
Okay.
A little bit.
I did not encounter you much last game then.
Oh, that's because I spent most of the games doing nothing.
Yes.
I was
you did have a Mega Centurion at one point. I remember that.
whatever.
You got some good shots of you sitting there looking
Oh,
stylish.
I'm telling you, all until you shoot the thing, it's money. Hey, I killed you the first game I brought it out.
Yep,
in the foot.
while I was being shot at by 2 rapid strikes.
Yes, the Mega Dart got there for Mega Dart.
I got bricked a lot last game.
Oh,
Why?
that
People
was
were just
a
like, let's throw
fun
bricks at
thing.
Josh. My goal is to hit Josh with a brick. I'm like, why me?
if you're not running the foam bricks at your game, you gots to do it. You absolutely don't worry about the little Nerf bomb football thing. The sprocket's mad cool, especially if you have an Addle. And just the foam brick is awesome because it flies like a brick should. Really unaerodynamic. And when you get a kill with it, it is so obscenely satisfying. Josh is hiding in this little walkway that we have. If you watch the videos we've posted, you'll see the walkway. And I come around the corner, I got no ammo left, and I just wing it at him, and it hits him in the stomach, and he looks like he tries to catch it. And he doesn't catch it. And I'm like, you're out, go away.
Yep.
He looks so dejected. But happy.
Because it was like the 3rd time it happened at that point, and it was not the last.
Yeah, everyone on the field was all over those bricks. We got some great action shots where like someone jumping over some
And we had
cover
3
and the other
bricks.
person, like doing a pitch.
That was the best part. There was like 3 bricks.
But
people
people
were-
picked up every
And the
2
bricks
seconds.
were way more exciting, like you said, than any of the other stuff.
Oh, so
All
exciting.
little footballs and stuff were like, I want the brick.
I had a good time with throwing the sprocket at people. You can get a good little run with it.
Yeah, you can, but the bricks are just fun.
The brick's just mad fun.
If it's anything that you throw at someone and you feel like in real life you would do brain damage to them, that's what's worth it. Like Z-bomb, oh, it's a football, it'll hurt. Throw a brick at someone's head, yeah, they're concussed.
Oh, it's so satisfying. I really want to hit someone and just run up like, I'm Brick James.
I'm Spacely Sprocket.
Junior.
I'm gonna hit the button.
Oh, we're so sorry there's not a lot of Nerf news these last 2 weeks, folks.
I do have a question for you guys, speaking about the bricks, though.
Yes.
So, we have started allowing the bricks and the Z-bombs at our games, because obviously we enjoy them, they're mad fun.
Yep.
What do you two think about introducing socks in the game as a cheaper form of bricks?
Josh, I'll let you go first since you're the moderator and I'm just one of your players.
I've got mixed feelings about it. So the thing is, I've seen socks at HVZ before, so I understand what they're supposed to be. I feel like we are already getting dangerously close to just people buying footballs and throwing them at each other, which I really don't want at our games. The problem that I have with socks is just, and not to say that we have shady players, but you could pretty easily weight socks or put something in socks. And there's pretty much no way for us to actually moderate the socks. And the way our rules are right now, it says if it's ammunition that you're supposed to, pretty much is made for shooting at people or throwing at people. And you can buy it off the shelf. We'll usually allow it. I mean, we'll double check it for some reason if it's something we've never seen before, but it's pretty easy. With socks, it's like, well, yeah, here they're just socks, but then if somebody throws some weights in them or tries to weight it down...
Yeah, but here's my thing, though, because it makes sense that you want to weigh down a dart to make sure that's more not aerodynamic, but make sure it's actually performing better. That makes sense. To me, those people aren't the type to use socks. It doesn't make sense to weigh down a sock.
I would put a baseball in a sock and throw it at you.
Well, yeah, because you're crazy.
Yeah, see, but I'm playing the game.
No, but we've been to HVC, and you had the option to do that, and you haven't done it.
That's because I never used a sock ever, and I stopped bringing them.
You have brought socks to HVC.
Yeah, I did, because I thought I was going to need them, and then I was like, I will never run socks.
Yeah, but that's also something you can check. Like, we have rules about, like, ammo being stocked, too, and people have been pretty good about that.
Yeah, but, I mean, most of the people get the ammo from us, because... that it's just easier for them most of the time, and it's pretty easy to moderate the ammo. If we see something that's non-standard, we just, like, whose is this? Don't bring this. This isn't allowed. With socks, I don't know.
It's just hard for me to imagine someone actually caring enough to weigh down a sock.
I agree.
To me, it's more about just having the affordability to let people do what they do with the bricks with other weapons. Okay, B.F.U, you've been shaking your head for the past,
morally
like, 3
opposed to socks.
Because?
It is not tactical. That is 1. It is not tactical. That is 2. If you can't afford a hobby, don't be in the hobby. Okay? You want to run a brick, go buy a stupid brick. And it's not branded. And it's not even close to branded. It's homemade. And I have and anyone that has heard me before, I have a serious hatred towards fully homemade stuff. I like modified stuff. I do not like stuff people make in their own garage. OMG, it is not that cool. I just don't want to get hit with a sock. It would just take the fun. It's like it's a sock. Yay. Let me go find a foam baseball then. And we'll start picking people off.
And that's what I was
I get
saying.
a foam baseball, I'm telling you right now, I will break the game with a foam baseball or football.
I know.
We'll break the game with footballs. I think socks is just, there's some, if there was nothing to replicate what the sock does, then I would say, you know what, you may have to come up with your own thing, but there's something to replicate it. There's something that's sold on the shelves, branded for Nerf to replicate the process. Why would we go to socks? And why socks, not footballs?
Because socks are softer.
Nerf footballs are pretty soft.
I was going to say Nerf's footballs are branded Nerf, and that's my only thing is that then we get into
right. I wouldn't.
What do you allow? What do you not allow? And
we have dog Nerf at our games already.
And OMG, please, the second I see somebody put a sock inside of a sock because we didn't go over it in the tutorial, they put a sock inside a sock and start twirling it around, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people do that at HVZ, where they're like sock ninjas, and I mean, at HVZ, however you want to run it, that's cool. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but at our games, we have specific rules against melee, and I feel like people are going to twirl it around and use it and hit people, and I'm going to be like, oh, that's a melee weapon. They're like, no, I'm using it as like a bola. Like, I'm going to just twirl it around and then like throw it at people, and it'll just get annoying for me. But I mean, I'm not 100% like super diehard against socks like B.F.U is. I see their place. I've seen them at HVZ, at things, at our games. I don't know.
The danger for me is more about, like, ammo's cheap, so you lose that. It's whatever.
Right.
But we had players, because anyone can go on the field and pick up bricks and start chucking them.
Right.
People lost their bricks because of that.
Brick, singular.
Well, if there's multiple bricks on the field, multiple people will lose their bricks.
Yeah, but only one person lost a brick.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, people will lose them, but then that's also, do you want to, you have to just take that into account. Like, you might lose a brick because you're throwing it at people.
Shoot, every time we have a game, there's extra blasters.
That is true. I have picked up extra, like, blasters that people have left behind almost every game.
That is weird that happens, by the way.
It is strange.
It happens a lot.
I know. I'm at the end of every game, too, and we're always cleaning up. I'm like, whose rough cut is this? Okay.
And then no one claims it. You're like, who has the extra stuff?
Why is there a Snapfire 8 just sitting on the table? Anyone?
I don't know. If you could find a way to make the socks not look like socks and make them look like something cool, like a brick, then that would be awesome. But
so, okay, what if we found a way to get like a foam material like Nerf and make our own bricks? Would you be okay with that? Because
long as you painted them and put some effort into it, I'd be okay with that.
Because here's my thing: I love the action shots of seeing people throwing stuff. I do agree with you. I love the look of a brick, so I just want more projectiles on the field that people can pick up and throw.
If people found a way
that.
to do their own foam stuff and it was safe and they put the effort into it to make it look cool, I am super down with that. That's why I don't like most of the NIC, all the homemade stuff, like the Snapfire bows. It's not that it's not. I think the premise is fantastic. Shell it. Find a way to put a shell around it.
Right.
Make it look cool. Like put some effort into making it look cool, and then worry about the aesthetics as much as the performance. Right, and then I'm good. And that's just my personal, definitely my personal opinion. Not don't want to project it on anybody, but.
Oh, I definitely enjoy the way that things that are made for what they're supposed to do look more than people that are like, oh, I have something. This is a piece of PVC and I'm going to use it as a blow dart gun. Not that that's a bad idea. I know people that do that and it's cool. I've seen them attached to their blasters, but I'm like,
put some
so if I were
decals
going to do
on
it, I would paint it blue.
Yeah, put some decals on it. Like some
it takes
tribal
very
art,
little
right?
Effort to make it not look like a plain white tube that has like, oh, here's some numbers that came when you bought it on it. It's
right.
Like, come on, you put all this effort and performance, take some pride in the looks. Like, I feel like a lot of people like building their own blasters because there's like, you feel the bond with it. You're like, I built this. I made this with my own 2 hands and I like it. I'm like, cool. Finished a job. If you're in wood shop and you make something and you don't sand it or paint it to make it look good, it's like, I made a box that opens and closes. Like, fantastic. It's functional. Now make it look like you'd want it to sit in your house and be proud of it.
Yeah, just don't put, bumpy, mossy paint on it, and the interweb will love you for it.
If you were like hiding out in a tree playing sniper, that bumpy moss would actually look pretty badass.
It would, but
but
it still wouldn't get an upvote.
We're gonna allow socks, and someone's gonna roll in with socks that they paint with the mossy paint.
I did it, guys. I created a moss ball.
We're gonna allow socks, and I'm gonna rage out. But Shawn, I like your idea of finding some foam that would work.
Yeah, and then you can just paint it really quickly and make it look like a brick.
Yeah, or something else, concrete, whatever.
Yeah, well, actually, then we can get all sorts of variety.
Cinder blocks.
We can get wood blocks.
Yep.
Okay, I'm out of ideas.
No,
rocks,
it doesn't have to be
water
blocks. Here's the thing: you can make it look like a rock.
Right.
You could do a lot of stuff as long as it's soft.
A wrench.
Yeah, like I've seen it. So, for
Then
instance,
you're like the little moles in Mario 3.
Here's one. For instance, at an airsoft game I went to before, there was, I forget the manufacturer, but they always give out T-shirts and hats and stuff like that. One of the things they're just randomly throwing in the crowd were these soft foam squishy grenades. That would be awesome.
Yep.
I didn't get one because I'm really short and everybody else is taller than me and grabbed them out of the air.
Can we figure out, like, try and remember or try and look it up? Because that would work out really good. If we could just buy in bulk just a little cheap little squishy thing.
That'd be awesome.
Throw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Stuff like that,
There's
I would
probably
be
dog
totally
toys
down
we can
for.
even buy.
Yeah.
Socks just feel like, well, there's no way to regulate it. There's no way to... Basically, oh, here's foam grenades. Okay, these are foam grenades. We know what they are.
We're sitting here in my house
And they look really cool.
pressing on my couch foam.
Right.
That my dog's ripped up our extra couch, and I've used this foam for other stuff. This stuff would actually be perfect if you touch it real quick, Shawn.
I will.
This stuff would be if you cut it into bricks, would be great foam for stuff like that. It's pretty heavy, but still squishy enough.
Even
Yeah,
if we
I
had
would love
foam
that
that
sort of
didn't
stuff.
hold form very well, we could always put duct tape on the outside or do something to kind of firm it up.
I mean,
No
I
duct
would
tape?
rather have
Oh, that's true.
the squishy grenades than some of the Z-bombs that are actually branded Nerf.
Yeah.
Because,
Yep.
like, the football with dynamite is meh. It's
Stupid.
okay because it has...
it's stupid.
No, so it looks like a football, which I hate. If they just made it a
Stick of dynamite?
That'd be awesome. But the bomb, the green, I don't even know what that's supposed to be.
It's a grenade.
Football.
It's supposed
that
to be,
they shove dynamite into, so it'll be
No,
aerodynamic.
you're talking about the green
No,
grenade.
the green one.
So it's a grenade with it's a grenade with tails on it to
It's
make it
supposed to
stable.
be like a mortar.
Yeah, it's a
Something
mortar.
like that.
It's a mortar.
But it looks terrible. I'm like, that doesn't look like this. This just looks like one of your spiral footballs that you make.
Yeah.
But shrunk down.
But the sprocket is awesome.
I mean, Nerf also makes small, mini versions of baseballs, basketballs. You could buy them, but it just wouldn't be cool.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why would I want to throw a football at you when I could throw
Plus,
a brick?
I'm telling you now, Nerf footballs would completely break the game.
They're too aerodynamic.
Well, I'm talking about the mini ones.
Plus, too many people probably played football as a kid.
Yeah, I'm just talking about mini footballs.
Yeah, even
or
them.
mini. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to see those on field because it's kind of like,
That's why I like our players too. So everyone's obviously got a bunch of bricks.
right.
You never see anybody running you didn't. My football stayed in the truck.
Yeah.
Like little aerodynamic ones. I only want to run something not aerodynamic.
I like the idea of it being rubble that you just find in the middle of a battlefield.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. Like, obviously, you aren't going to find footballs and baseballs in the middle of a battlefield unless you had a war in a very tragic area.
Right.
But bricks, like rocks, these are all things where like it's from The Last of Us. Just watching that, you find stuff in the middle of a street in wreckage, and you're like, I'm going to use
a foam wrench would be cool.
Oh yeah. Oh, for
we
sure.
just gotta. It comes down to, can you make it? Where does it look? What's it look like? A foam hammer would be awesome.
Foam hammer would be fun.
Oh yeah. Oh totally. There's a lot of things that would be really cool to see. And that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure you can actually find some small ones just to use for promotional things, stuff like that. Like I said, I mentioned the grenades, but I'm sure I've seen like mini foam hammers and wrenches and stuff like that for tool places to give away.
Well, I'm sure even promotional, like companies for promotional reasons, they have little stress balls or just those little foam materials. You can say, hey, can you make one of those, but as a brick?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Alibaba.com. You guys never been to Alibaba.com?
No.
Oh, it's like this website where you can go to any Chinese manufacturer and get what you need made in bulk.
See, that'd be
Okay,
cool.
that's where we're going after the podcast.
All right.
I did it for custom dice research, but yeah, Alibaba.com is great. You got to buy a lot. I mean, I've spent like at least $500 or $600 on it.
That's a little bit pricey.
I mean, I did spend a lot on the Zingbows when I bought them secondhand. Not as much as the guy who bought them firsthand, but you know.
Yeah. Actually, that guy's giving us his blaster collection too.
What?
Yeah, he's donating it.
Why doesn't he come to a game?
He's in Mr. California. He's getting ready for a Mr. California bodybuilding show.
It's really hard. Arnold's in California, and he was Mr. Universe. I feel like he's already trumped.
Yeah, but when he's in the show, you know, he's got to not eat anything. 800 carbs a day is for a week is rough.
I'm not saying he has to eat the blasters. They're not that tempting to have
Oh
around.
my god, edible blasters.
Okay, that's mad easy to do. I'm sorry.
Edible blasters?
Well, not... Hold up. Now I'm thinking of how to make them fire. You make a big enough thing, you put some pop rocks behind it, you put a little cookie ball in there.
Oh my god, chocolate blasters.
Make it like a couple of them and have some chocolate cookies and have it be like a scatter shot.
Ooh, chocolate chip cookies. That sounds good.
Oh, now I want food.
Yeah. I only had Chipotle today.
Oh, I hate you. That sounds mad good too.
That's
Chipotle does sound mad good.
Round 2.
Blasters.
I mean,
chocolate chip blasters.
So socks. Yeah, it's a thing.
So
if you don't, we're not going to tell you not to run it. You do you play the way you have fun.
Yeah, because obviously Josh and I, we like to have a lot of, I don't want to say control in our games, but we want to make sure things are safe.
Correct.
So we try and come up with rules to ensure that there's very little leeway for people to take advantage of those rules and manipulate them to make unsafe things happen. So that's why I can see why Josh doesn't want socks to be filled with baseballs. Makes sense. It makes sense to me. Now, that said, I've been to plenty of HVZ games where people run socks. There's very low regulation. People use them as like melee weapons that they just swing around. I personally don't like that. I think that's very stupid when people do it that way because it's kind of, once again, manipulating the rules to do something that's not intended.
I will also say that at every HVZ game I've ever been to, I have seen people get hurt. Not necessarily even by socks, just falling down and stuff, but...
Half the time it's one of our friends.
Put that out there. That is true.
Past 3 games.
Because they're used to our games where we're like, don't do that. And then they try doing it at HVZ because they're like, yeah, there's no real rules. And then they fall down and they get hurt. And we're like, that's why we tell you not to do it in our games.
Can't play basketball.
I've been wanting to ask you chaps this for a little bit. This is going to be a complete change of subject, but
yes.
I've been wanting to ask you chaps this for a little bit now. You think so? I thought this was a pretty. I've only been in Nerf for 1 year. Everybody knows this from my origin story 2 podcasts ago.
Yes,
it seemed like it was a pretty banner year for blasters. Like a lot came out.
Bully.
Yeah.
At the end of last year, beginning throughout this whole year, right?
Yeah.
And from talking to Josh's like it's normally not like this.
He's a hipster.
Wait, what? How does that make me a hipster? Saying it's normally not
I'm
like
saying
this?
you're a hipster because you're in the Nerf before it was cool. I mean, I've only been Nerfing for about 2 years now.
Right.
God, it feels like you've been Nerfing for like 10, and I've been like I'm like a noob.
I just have that air of importance around me where it seems like I know what I'm talking about all the time.
No, you're the second person I met that nerfed.
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, they're both the same thing in my head.
You're like Nerf Jeebus.
Yep.
Actually, more Nerf
so
Moses.
He's Nerf Moses.
No, you'd be Moses, he'd be Jeebus.
But he came first.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, then I'm
anyways,
Jeebus.
we're devolving real quick. So
Yep.
anyways,
I don't believe in evolution
Josh said
as
this
Nerf
wasn't
basis.
this was a pretty banner year
Yeah.
for blasters. The question is, do you think next year we'll be able to equal this year, or do you think we're in for a down year?
Josh?
Ooh, yikes. That's rough.
I got thoughts.
I don't even know what the heck we're going to do. Because I thought they were going to spread the Elite line out a little bit more. When they first initially brought it out, they only brought out a few blasters. So we knew that once it came to about, spring of the next year, we were going to get some more blasters, and I thought they were just going to sort of string us along all summer. And we got a ton of stuff. I don't think that we're going to see anything close to this year. That's going to be my prediction. Because if you think about it, we got the rest of the Elite line, we got the Zombie Strike line, we got the Rebel line, and we got the Mega line, or beginning of the Mega stuff. So while all those things might continue, I feel like we are probably not going to get the same sort of... There's a whole new line coming out. We don't know what it is or what it could possibly be about.
Nerf Dog continued.
That's true. We might get some stuff like that. We might get continuations. Plus, we got all the licensed stuff. So we got the new... we got all the Z-Bombs. We got the Pack. We got the Machete. And we've already been previewed stuff that's going to come out next year. So although it will probably count towards next year, I kind of still see it as like, oh, that happened this year. We already know there's going to be a new zombie sword. Right? So if that comes out next year, it's not going to be like, oh, yeah, this year was so cool, so we got the zombie sword. We're like, well, we sort of knew it was coming out. It's not really a big surprise. We got a lot of stuff that we didn't even know about this year.
Yeah, I feel like next year is going to be repaints.
Maybe.
Like we're going to get a lot of repaints, which no one may share his opinion with me. I like repaints. I think it's a good way for Hasbro to make money. Mm-hmm. If they don't have any technological advances that is going to move the game forward, and from what Josh has told me and you've told me, the Elite line was a big leap forward in technology, and it appears that they were banking on the Mega line being a leap forward. And hey, you know what? Maybe the Mega Pistol comes out, and it's awesome.
Yeah, could be.
Right? Or maybe they fix the ammo, and then the Centurion. And honestly, even with good ammo, I don't know if the Centurion will ever be...
what people expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can only do so much with a foam dart.
Right. No,
Pinpoint accuracy with Nerf darts is never going to happen.
Yeah, it's true.
But if the pistol's good, we'll probably get... we have the Javelin. No one's ever... The Mega Javelin,
we still don't know what's up with the Mega Javelin.
Yeah. God, the Magnus could be the Mega Javelin for all we know at this point.
They could have renamed it.
I just hope that it's a really big javelin.
I know,
foam.
buddy.
Like, I just want to carry javelins in a basket on my back and throw them at people.
Okay.
Does that make me a bad person?
No. Makes you a good person.
It makes you beautiful.
It makes you a very pleasant, simple man with simple desires.
I just want to peg somebody with a javelin.
I think what we'll see a lot more stuff from Play Infinity. I think that's who does.
I think it is Play Infinity.
I think so. I think we'll see a lot more stuff from them because they seem to just be going, hey, cool, we got this Nerf license. Let's just pump out what we can while we can until we lose it. Because I think they might just be afraid that Nerf is going to see that they're doing well and go, whoa, we'll just make it in-house now. Mm-hmm. We're going to pull the license from you. I don't know what the whole agreement is, so I don't know if that's even possible, but it feels that way because they're just bringing out a ton of stuff. So I think the most interesting things that we'll get next year is going to be a lot of stuff from them, and then we're just going to get some other stuff for these lines, which, there might be some hits and some surprises, but I don't think it's going to be like this year where we just got... a bunch of new reshells that people have been hoping for, plus a bunch of really new blasters that we didn't even see coming.
See, I think the one key thing that you're missing out on here is the production cycle for Nerf blasters seems to be very long.
Correct.
It sounds like, according to some of My Last Start's blogs, it sounds like the zombie line was planned, or first being built and constructed around 2009, 2010, and it's just hitting shelves now.
Right.
That means when HVZ first got popular, that's when they're like, hey, we need to get on this. And it took a long time to make sure everything was working good, making sure it's working proper. They started contracting out some of the stuff because, here's my theory, there is a lot of competition on the market right now. Like, of course, Nerf has always had pretenders to the throne, but they've been king. But now you have Zing comes out with these bows, all these different color bows, getting great ranges, great accuracy, doing great, nothing but good things coming all around the board. Mm-hmm. Buzzbee and Arizona are coming back in a strong way with air-powered blasters, getting great distances. Color scheme's not that great, but ultimately is competition. You get Tech Recon coming out with completely new blaster designs, new ammo designs. Mm-hmm. There are all these new companies.
Paper shooters,
JM's Flatmaster or whatever it's called.
Yep.
So you get all these different designs. There's a lot of competition out there right now. Everyone is trying to get a piece of this pie. So I think big push for next year, what's going to happen is Nerf is going to rely more on the licenses. I think the licenses they gave to Play Infinity or whatever they're called are doing really well right now.
Agreed.
I think everyone I know has looked at them, has been interested, wanting to buy them. The machetes are, of course, going to sell really well. I think the Z-bombs are even done by them, too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of popular items that can be purchased. If Nerf sees they're doing well and they're able to make a profit, because usually I think a lot of these deals go down, it's like, hey, you're paying us to use your name. And they're like, we're making profit, so we want to keep paying you to use the name, and you don't have to do any work. This is like free money for you.
Right.
This is so easy. We just want the Nerf name on our product, and you just collect because we borrow your name. They're going to say, you know what? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep innovating, and we take no risk. So a lot of the new designs are going to come from contracted other companies. So that's one potential possibility. There are also rumors, too, that originally the Zombie Strike line wasn't going to come out as early as it did. It came out earlier to compete with Tech Recon because Nerf generally saw all the hype they were building, all the attention they were getting on their Kickstarter, and say, we need to push something out right as their blasters come out to try and steal their thunder and suppress this early on.
Well, that was the theory behind also the Mega Centurion being released earlier than a lot of people thought, and that's my concern, is that a lot of those things were scheduled for next year, so we would get Elite stuff this year, and then we'd get Zombie Strikes, that stuff would all sort of be spaced, and because they released it early, now it's like, what do we do?
With that was their flagship blaster, but now they have the time. For the Magnus, take your time. Figure it out. If there are any problems you think you might have, you have until Christmas, or I will even say January or February, to come out with those blasters. Because you have so many options for the holiday season, you do not need to make an extra push right now.
I agree.
Now is the time. I feel like there's going to be a lull between the holidays. Who knows? There's always leaks around Christmas, so there might be some more coming out around then. But I think if Hasbro's smart, they rest on their laurels for the next 2 to 3 months, let all the blasters they've released have their chance to sell, get popular, not have to compete with one another during the holidays, because if people are having to choose between Rebel and Zombie Strike and Ice Blaster and Whiteout series, it's too much all at once. They need to wait, like you said, you might see more recolors next year, but they're also going to have to step up their game to make sure the competition doesn't catch up with them. So I think licensing deals are going to be a big play for them there, because they don't have to be creative, have other companies be creative for them and use the Nerf name to build a brand.
Right.
And two, they may continue still to push out more blasters earlier on, just not this year, next year. I think they are done for now, and any good stuff will come out next year. Maybe not.
We're talking about the 2014, like spring, summer.
Spring, summer, yeah.
Right?
In
Okay,
2014.
yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Because overall, the entire year, I could see they still have stuff in the vault ready to release. I think they just put out some of their best stuff right now to quell any unrest that might pop up. And next year could potentially be another big year, because we have another big bunch of technology that has been worked on for years, ready to go, just being finalized, and potentially more tested and not rushed.
Right.
So better performance.
I'd be interested to see the way their production works. Like, do they develop the internals for a blaster, and then how quickly can they build a shell around those internals? Because my theory is that they spend a lot of time on the internal workings of the blaster, and then they build shells like for certain what I would call base blasters, right? So the Centurion's obviously its own thing.
Right.
It'll be the only blaster that uses all that stuff.
Right.
But the Strong Arm has been used in multiple blasters, the internals. The Hammershot now.
Yep.
Because, I mean, honestly, I think with with that Hammer Prime mechanism, if they could crank out some different shells, they could keep selling guns at a really good clip.
I would agree.
I agree.
With that internal system, I mean, it shoots 65. What do we get? 65 feet usually on that? Flat 55?
About.
I mean, and it's accurate. It's super accurate. We've tried it. All three of us have sat there with like sucker darts and shot target. We've target practiced with it. It's a really accurate blaster.
Oh, yeah.
It outperforms most of the sidearms as it is. And that system also outperforms some primaries. Think about it if they keep reshelling it, and they just keep reshelling it. They could make a lot of hay by just reshelling that one blaster. It may be making some refinements, bigger spraying here and there, whatever.
Right.
But it doesn't feel very specific. Like the Sledgefire feels like that's the only blaster it's ever coming out in. Seems like there's two camps. Like they make specialty guns,
right,
and then they have a team working on systems. Like, let's come out with a system, and we'll put it in multiple shells.
So my question then would be, as far as it being a big year for Nerf, would you consider newer original designs more important for Nerf, or just creating better performing blasters?
So I think personally, and this is, I haven't, like I said, I haven't been in it, but just seeing the way things work, I think we're at about I think as far as the regular darts, that's probably coming to an end. I don't think they can make the elite darts perform any better than they're performing now. I think the range, it's maxed. And you know that by what you do when you mod, right? You know that it hits about 90 feet. It's a crapshoot.
Yeah, it starts getting squirrely.
You know after 55 feet, you're probably not getting an accurate shot anyway, right?
Right.
So I think they're pretty much at their end with that. And maybe they can make systems that, like, the Hammershot was a nice surprise. Right? But again, you said it was made in 2009. So that means if that's the pinnacle, either we're in for new darts, if it's Mega Dart, whatever, we're probably in for some new ammo being phased into the system. Because if the elites are really at their end, I would say for me, I would take reshells of great internals.
I agree.
I would also agree.
Because I feel like on a certain level, performance is where it needs to be.
Yep.
Of course, we're always going to want more accurate blasters, but for Nerf, I feel like the ranges we're shooting at each other right now, perfectly fine. It does not really need to be improved upon. That's where aesthetics and creativity with the blasters, like what you get with the Hammershot, going a direction with the Sledgefire, I think that's ultimately going forward is going to be more important.
It's going to be about function. It's going to be about form and function.
I'm just saying, I don't think we're going to see as many original blasters this year as we did next year as we did this year.
Yeah.
We will see a lot of reshells or repaints. Even most of the Rebel line is basically reshells of old blasters. Like, oh, this is a Jolt, but it's pink.
Right.
But it also looks different. It's not just a repaint, it's a reshell.
Yeah, but you can't think of the Rebel line. I mean, this is going to be mean to say. It is not a primary focus for Nerf. They did not come out with this line saying it needs to be attention grabbing. It's more saying it's a land grab to get female audiences interested in Nerf.
And I think there's some, the Heartbreakers internals, having played with them, there's potential in the internals.
Oh, yeah. Need a I think it just breaks down to it needs to be a larger plunger system.
I actually don't even... So here's the thing, though. It gets 75 feet. It gets the range it says in the box. And flat, it gets... The system... The internals are okay. The way it draws is poor. But that's not the actual plunger. There's a little drawstring thing in there.
All they needed
that
to
screws
do
the whole system
was
up.
basically make it a night finder that instead of having a trigger is in a bow shape.
And has a direct draw.
Boom.
That's it.
You're done. Don't put it on a little string that it's just weird. Just slap a night finder's internals into it or a fire strike. Sorry. And go. That's pretty much all that I thought it was going to be. And then when it wasn't, I think that's why I was disappointed.
Josh said he liked the crossbow, which is basically a strong arm.
I do like the crossbow. Price point, I just feel like if they dropped it $5, they'd be good. Which they did with the Heartbreaker bow. It used to be 20, now it is 15.
And it's much more swallowable at 15.
Yeah.
Like you would consider it at the $15. I mean, yeah, you can get a Hammershot for that much, but you can only have 5 or 6 of those, right?
Only. Enough to kill anything that moves.
I would like to see, I think Josh is right. I don't think we're going to get anything from a functionality standpoint. The Mega is probably going to be the one thing we get.
Yeah.
We saw the picture of the one-shot crossbow. I am not a fan of single-shot blasters. I just don't understand them. Like, I get it, they're small, but things are getting, the Sweet Revenge is pretty freaking small.
Yeah.
So, but I people like them, whatever. But you're getting the guy version of the Rebel crossbow. We're getting a couple Vortex single shots.
Right.
And we'll get a repainted rough cut. I mean, I think they'll sneak in. I think we'll get a blaster that gets snuck in there.
I think that every year they're going to want to bring out something big and interesting. Like you said, the Hailfire last year was the big selling blaster. And I think this year they tried to push a couple of different things. So it'll probably end up being the Rapid Strike.
There's already a commercial for the Rapid Strike.
Yeah, because the Centurion just didn't do as well as they expected, I think. But, I think they'll release maybe a big blaster or two like that.
Yeah.
And then maybe if we're lucky, we'll get one or two just totally off-the-wall blasters that we didn't expect. But a lot of them are going to be reshells or repaints and things like that, different lines. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad year for Nerf. They might do great in sales.
It's not going to be bad at all.
I'm just saying we're not going to see the content created that we did this year.
And the Hammershot, doesn't it have an N-Strike Elite tag on it somewhere?
Yes, on the handle.
Yeah, so here's my thing.
Yep.
And I don't know what my last start said because I didn't read that part of his blog.
Uh-huh.
But did he say Zombie Strike was planned in 2009 or these blasters were planned in 2009?
I feel like he said Zombie Strike, but I'm not positive.
Because, I mean, my thought is, I wonder if they just make generic blasters and then they brand them as they go, right? So, like, hey, we got to get this. Because some of the zombie stuff, it doesn't all match.
Right.
That's
Look
true.
at the Zombie Strike stuff. It's not like they have one uniformed looking way a blaster looks. They all kind of look different.
Right.
Like, Rebel matches. You can tell Rebel was all planned together.
Mm-hmm.
It's all smooth. It has the same look to it. It's very smooth. Even the paint coating is textured.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that glossy paint that's on a normal Nerf blaster. You can tell it was planned as a separate line.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, seeing some of the pictures, feels like the Hammershot and the one-shot crossbow were planned together. It doesn't feel like everything else is the same kind of design.
Yeah.
And I can now see them saying, like, I don't feel like the Sledgefire, I'm not sure the Sledgefire and the Hammershot were designed at the same time. I don't know why I don't feel that way. It just doesn't feel like they were the same.
Very well could have been. I mean, they could have been waiting for feedback from their previous shotgun designs.
Right.
And things like that.
Because keep in mind, their first shotgun was the barrel break. Well,
Yeah.
obviously they probably had different ones, but for the end strike line,
Right.
barrel break was the first one to come out. And that one, aesthetically and functionality-wise, I feel like is very close to a shotgun.
Yep.
And then the next step is saying, okay, well, the problem is we need a higher rate of fire, or not higher rate of fire. We need more shots than just 2, because
Right.
that sucks. And I feel like the next step, someone was on the other side, like, no, I don't think the rough cut's the right answer. You want spread fire with a shotgun.
Right.
You get the sledge fire.
Right.
It could be 2 different camps for all we know who came up with the design.
And I feel like they slapped the Z on it. So I feel like there's some blasters that they have. I feel like some are the start of a line, but then they reserve just a bunch of generic blasters. Like, we don't know where to put this yet. You know, like the Mega line, if you look at the pistol, it looks just like the Centurion, but smaller.
Yeah.
Right.
It looks like it was designed. I feel like the zombie line is something they could have a blaster there. They weren't sure where to put it. Put the Z Deco on it, and people will be like, yeah, that's awesome.
I feel that way with the little single shot that's coming out that actually has a little holster with it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Sledgefire and the Hammershot, they have sort of the wrapping and sort
It's
of the
true.
post-apocalyptic
That's true.
stuff. That, I mean, maybe they designed them and then went back and were like, well, now let's just add some tape to it and make
Right.
it look zombie-ish. Okay, cool. That one just feels like it's a blaster.
Yeah.
It's just a blaster.
Right? It
and
feels like an
happens to
elite
have a
blaster.
thing. Yeah, and then they're like, well, let's make it part of the zombie line. Or,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
who knows? We might get, if they're going to do a Zombie Strike rough cut, there's no reason they won't zombify or Zombie Strike other blasters we've already seen.
That's true. And
Yeah.
I think Josh, you're right. You're going to see a lot of reshells next year. To me, I just think it's going to be a great year for accessories.
I
That's
hope
my
so.
big hope. Just seeing
Yeah.
these 2 accessories, and I think I would love to see the sales figure, but for me, it's hard to imagine they're not doing well because people are just so desperate for Nerf brand accessories.
So what else you think that, because this company's not allowed to make rail attachments? That's the word on the street.
That's
no
what
rail
I've heard too.
attachments.
Yeah.
So what other accessories do you think we're going to get? Because we've already got bags.
So
And
we
the
got
bags are
magazine
awesome.
holders. I mean, on a basic level, they're just using cloth, so they could just reinvent some of the designs. Like, for example, I have a magazine holder that's a strap.
Yeah.
No reason they can't do that. Build a better bandolier. You could do that as well.
Right.
Yeah.
A chest
They
rig.
Nerf
yeah,
vest,
chest rig.
there's already been, I think DPCIs were found for a Nerf bandana, Zombie Strike bandana.
Yep, you knew
That's
that
cool.
was- that's cool.
Yeah.
I think the other. So when it's funny because when you say accessories, I automatically think rail attachments.
Right.
But you're right.
I mean, that makes perfect sense,
No,
too.
but you're right. They're game accessories. I think they enhance the gameplay. Not so much the blasters. The stuff they're putting out enhances the gameplay and the tactical of everything.
I would love to see them, like Shawn was saying, come out with just more stuff, like a better version of the tactical vest.
Right.
Or
Like a big
more pouches and things like that, you know, maybe they put a little bit more time into instead of the one that's just a big box. For 12 rounds just to hold on you. 'Cause that would be really
on a very
cool.
basic level, that's an easy place to start. It's like,
Yeah.
people really want this. Come out with a frickin' box pouch.
Yeah.
$15.
Slap a Z on it and
People
you're good.
will buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, or don't even put the Z on it. I like the digital camo look they went with because you can kind of use it with any series.
Yeah.
It's branded Zombie Strike, but if you take it out, there's enough blue in it to look like you should rock with the Elite stuff.
I mean, they could come out with like cloth holsters. Like, there's no need for stuff to integrate directly into Nerf, like with the rail mounting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It could just be simple things that people would use for other stuff.
I think
All they have to do
holsters.
is holsters would be fantastic.
They've also talked about, and this was way at the beginning of this year, I believe, when Miles Dart was reporting on a lot of this stuff, where they're talking about doing Nerf clothing lines and stuff like that. So, I mean, if we're talking about...
Well, yeah, we saw Nerf backpacks at Target Online.
Yeah.
And Target Online had Nerf branded backpacks.
I mean, if
Nerf
they're making...
bike.
Yeah, they've got a Nerf bike. They've got
Nerf
Nerf
dog.
shoes and Nerf sandals.
Shawn
if
loves
they're
Nerf
doing...
dog.
I love Nerf dog. There's nothing in the rules, Josh, that say a dog can't play Nerf.
It's true.
Yeah,
I'm gonna amend the rules when I get home tonight, just to spite.
Yep.
I think you guys are right. I think it's going to be a big year for accessories in 2014. Maybe we'll get a couple surprises. But just the way I see having read the history of Nerf and reading it up to now, I think unfortunately the mega ammo is probably here to stay in some way, shape, or form. So I don't think you can get any more performance out of the elite darts.
I mean, here's the thing. There used to be mega ammo.
Right.
So now we've got a new mega ammo, and I keep trying to refer to it as elite mega ammo, because it does say End Strike Elite on it, but then it says mega, and it is a little bit different size than the old mega darts.
Yep.
The same way that the streamlines are the same size as the elite streamlines, but they don't have the peg in them, so
Right.
everything's not compatible. It didn't last, but the streamlines, they were so prevalent for so long.
Right.
Original streamlines weren't like, oh, we released them 1 year and then the next year we went to elite streamlines. Like, they were here for a very significant amount of time, and I feel like they switched to the elite stuff, which is great, and we're getting better ranges and these darts are better, and then they immediately sort of introduced mega, and that's kind of
I think the elite streamlines are going to be here for at least 4 or 5 more years. I think we're going to keep getting reshells, more blasters. I just think for the next performance step,
I agree,
is going to have to be something different with the ammo.
Yeah.
I
For us to
totally
go
agree.
up in performance, unless they start doing sled style like a crossbow. Like that's the only thing we've
Right.
ever seen fling an elite dart accurately 100 feet is the crossbow system, where you're just on a sled,
right?
right? Unless we get some blasters like that, but I would think that's way too many moving parts.
I mean, you can go with smaller, heavier rounds and get something more like a slug. There's that. It's just, to me, I think...
I mean, they could go completely different. They used to have the buzzsaw and all the ball blasters. I mean, we could be looking at stuff like that. They might come out with more ball blasting ammo or something like that.
That actually makes sense.
Or a brick blaster.
Yeah.
Mega ball blast.
I mean, I don't... They need to fix the mega darts if they want to go that
That's a
direction.
big thing. I think if they come out with a redesign of the Mega Dart that still works with the Mega series, but it holds up better.
It seems like they should make it thicker.
Yeah,
Just a little bit thicker,
I think that's
like regular.
I honestly
streamlines.
think that's coming. I think what they're probably going to have to do is clear out all the mega darts they have now.
I'm sure.
Or just sell it on eBay. Through
Freaking cheap.
on the cheap, yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I got 200 green darts coming.
I'm excited to see how those work.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've eaten up enough of our viewers' lives today. So, any final thoughts, B.F.U?
Thanks for having me on again. Love you guys. Look me up, Crone16 on Nerf Reddit. Check me out with Bay Area Nerf. Got a game coming up next week. Real excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. Well, thanks for being on.
We appreciate it. We always love having awesome guests on the show. I mean, we didn't have one this time, so we just made do. But you know what? We still appreciate you being here.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
I'm going to get beat up later.
Well, everyone, rate, comment, subscribe.
Remember when that was my thing?
Yeah, you just never remember it anymore. You used to slip
No, I
it in the
remember
middle.
every time because I was using it jokingly and you're using it earnestly. You ruined the cool, funny factor of it.
Well, you used to slip it in the middle of the podcast, and now we get to the end, and I'm like, he hasn't said it yet. Rate, comment, subscribe, everybody.
And upvote.
And upvote.
There we go.
It is appreciated. It does help us
Yes.
out. We love having that positive feedback. They're both just pointing upward at the sky.
Because we're upvoting.
We have all become
Woo!
Redditors.
Upvote. Vote up.
Do, 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 do.
Oh, you gotta be a mute to do the ending music before it starts.
Yes.
That's usually Sean's cue to like, okay,
All right, everyone from Nerfcast. This is Shawn.
this is Josh.
With B.F.U.
Happy
tagging.
Now do it.
Bye, Hammershot! John, I'm sorry.